Okay, so in about 2014, I was asked by, believe it or not, a prince and a princess to do a residency in the south of Germany. During my walks, I immediately started to see a lot of things that I had never seen here, such as these kinds of beautifully colored slugs, some butterflies, all sorts of other kind of botanical things that I was very excited about. And then I started to see a lot of mushrooms. I noticed that a lot of the forms were appearing in the works that I was making, and to be quite honest, had always kind of been there in my work, but that I had never wanted to go along with such a pedestrian inspiration as nature. So from fungus, then I started to think more in terms of plant life in general. I started to research all sorts of things that fell into my element of my own work, content being things such as death, reproduction, disease, aging, sexual organs, orifices, perduncles, protuberances, mathematics, things of this sort. And I started to realize, all these things that you think you thought of, nature thought of them first, things that you could never imagine, and just also a general, what I find a psychological sense of nature too, a way in which nature embodies thoughts. If we look at it as a metaphor, if we see it almost anthropomorphically, different types, personality traits, just different ways in which all sorts of things that maybe we think of as human conditions of creative residue actually present themselves somehow in nature. Anyway, so I started to collect a lot of imagery and found it very exciting on a formal level. So I went from these kinds of things to start to do more research, which includes obviously a more in-depth understanding that's not skin deep, where you're looking inside of animals, inside of organs, to see other worlds inside those worlds, where you're starting to understand not only just the way that things look, but the way that things function. And it's on this level that I started to get very inspired, that I found often that the explanations for the way that proteins work in DNA, or the way that the circulation system works, or the homeostasis of the kidneys, that these things, for me, could also be read in terms of narrative, spirituality, or psychology. That these systems of respiration or circulation or so on and so forth, that they held within them some sort of other logic that I think that painters and sculptors and dancers and people maybe subconsciously apply to their movements or their narratives. Even the way that geology is formed, all these things tend to have a way of working themselves into artists' ideas and artists' narratives. This could be a kusama, right?